Yes, I want to go over some interesting, basically ancient medicine. Maybe it's from the 1400s, 1500s, and actually goes all the way back to Hippocrates if you study its roots. This is about Four Thieves Oil or Four Thieves Vinegar, and there's a legend about it. It's sometimes called the Marseilles remedy for after Marseille, France. Today, which is the second largest city in France, it's a seaport coastal town in South France on the Mediterranean, and it was also the home to some of the greatest plagues, black plagues. And there was a remedy out there, and I'll give you what the origin of this title is: Four Thieves Vinegar, or Four Thieves Oil. It actually includes vinegars, though, in the original formula. But what it was a specific vinegar composition, which was used during the medieval period during the Black Death. And what happened actually was that if you look, here's Marseille in France, southern France, actually the French Riviera, nice area, but this was a trading town, and it's on the Mediterranean. And what happened was, I guess that was the method by which new microbes were introduced into the town, or somehow maybe through probably all the trade that was going on, and eventually it took root in Black Death. Now, what happened was that there was traders that were spice traders, and they lost all their business due to the economic collapse of the town, due to the Black Death, 100 centuries ago. And what happened was they decided to well, they got no money, so what they decided to do was to rob the victims of the Black Death. But to protect themselves from the microbes, what they did was they came up with this concoction of vinegars and oils that protected themselves from the microbes. And actually, this has been proven today. Actually, if you look at this scientifically, a lot of these oils are known to be highly antibacterial, anti-mold, and all this type of stuff. So there's different formulas out there, and I'm actually going to tell you one of the original ones, but first I'm going to go over some of the ones that are more commonly known. But I got a printout of something I guess was probably centuries old, but I'll go over that just in a second. But first, some of the original formulas are 3 pints of strong white wine vinegar, add in wormwood. Wormwood, is famous from Dr. Hulda Clark, who is basically an alternative health practitioner for wormwood. He was known for killing parasites and bad microbes in the intestines, which is where disease starts. Mellow sweet, white marjoram, and sage, 50 cloves. Cloves are very highly antibacterial. There's basically, it's been known, actually, there was an island out in the Pacific that was noted for its clove trees, and all the islanders used to use the cloves to protect themselves from disease. And actually, it was when some European settlers came there and killed the clove trees, the islanders died and succumbed to disease. It's actually, cloves are noted for being extremely antiviral, antibacterial. 2 ounces of cananula roots, 2 ounces of angelica, rosemary, horehound, and 3 measures of camphor. And you mix it in a container 15 days and everything. Another recipe called for dried rosemary, dried sage flowers, dried lavender flowers, fresh root, camphor dissolved in spirit, sliced garlic, bruised clove, distilled white wine vinegar. Now, I also say in your kitchen you should have this armory. I call it an armory. Things like rosemary, sage, dried lavender, and the garlic and the vinegars and the clove. Because actually, when you put all these different things on your foods, even if they're not the essential oils, just using the herbs, they're very good for you. They have a lot of other uses besides actually flavoring the foods or adding something to them with a spice. There's a lot of actual medicinal value to it. It's been known all the way back before, even because actually the traders knew about this from knowledge that was ancient knowledge. This all goes all the way back to Hippocrates at least. So modern day versions of Four Thieves Vinegar include various herbs and include sage, lavender, thyme, rosemary, along with garlics. Now I'm going to give you one here. This is actually from the Google archives going way back, and actually this is several centuries old. I got this off of something. It's several centuries old. It's rosemary, sage flowers, lavender, rue, camphor, garlic, cloves, and distilled wine vinegar, the strongest distilled wine vinegar. That is actually probably the original Four Thieves mixture. Now, sometimes they use one herb for each thief. That's probably not correct, you know. And I don't know if there's been Four Thieves, but it's been alleged that there was. And when they got caught stealing, the king was going to execute him. And what happened was they they basically said, for leniency, we'll give you the formula, and they got leniency. That's probably what happened. So back in the day, they used to have like the Black Plague doctor that used to look like this. He used to wear this long robe, and he would put on a robe all the cloves and the garlic and the vinegars and things like that to ward off the microbes. And they wear this bird's beak, and inside the beak itself, they would put all the herbs. So when you're breathing the air, it was filtered through the aroma of all the herbs, and actually these herbs would actually kill things in the air that were harmful, so they wouldn't get the disease. That's why you see the picture of the doctor from the medieval times looking like this, sort of like a little bit of a gas mask and a cloak protective suit. You think people were stupid back then? No, they weren't. But anyway, if you actually want to use 4 cloves oil today, you know, if you're out there on the road on your motorcycle or anything like that in the elements, you know, whatever. You know, it could be something to wear. It could be something to wear with, you know, on your leathers or whatever. That could be one usage for modern days. I'm going to actually tell you a way you could probably get this stuff more or less for free, or the effects of it for free. But, you know, it's been noted the priests have been using actually this formula too. They were doing last rites on plague victims and things like that. And they would wear these type of oils, and they would have that on their robes and things like that, just like the medieval doctors, so they wouldn't get infected by whatever the plague was infecting the victims with. And in this case, this is a priest doing an exorcism on a Norton motorcycle. So, you know, in this case, he probably does have some cloves on here because, you know, just kidding about this. But this is one of the other uses for Thieves Oil, because if you don't wear it, you know, it might bring you some bad luck, like this girl here trying to wash this bike off. And you know, obviously she wasn't wearing Four Thieves Oil because she's got some bad karma going. But I just want to point out that, you know, there's other uses for it. And you know, if you don't have to look like a doctor like this, you can look like you know, regular people, and still wear Four Thieves Oil at all times. But, you know, there's actually another way of doing this without having the smell of vinegar or smell of oils and everything like that. And maybe just a little bit theoretical and out there with science, but I'm going to actually reference something because I've put a lot of videos out on this about this spooky Rife quantum entanglement Rife machine. And if you look in the formulas, you have all the essential oils that you can rife the frequencies directly to your DNA. Now, I don't know if this would be as powerful as doing the real McCoy with the oils themselves, and this would protect you from the Black Plague. But here we have where you can actually get this with this program. Essential oil, Thieves, a blend of clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. Highly effective immune and general health support. So, you know, somewhat akin to the original McCoy, without actually having the hassle of having, you know, the odors of strong cloves and garlic and vinegars and things like that. So, you know, that could be kind of a drawback having that on your clothes. But you can actually technologically write the frequency to your DNA remotely. So just want to add that as a side note. And, you know, it could keep the gremlins away. It could keep the gremlins away and keep the good karma, whereas, you know, this was bad karma. I'd imagine she was not using Four Thieves Oil or rifing Four Thieves Oil to her, and this was bad karma all the way. So here you go. But I'm sure no harm was done, and I'm sure about a dozen bikers out there probably picked up that bike for no problem, you know. So anyway, I just want to put this out here because if you don't have Four Thieves Oil, you might be having your bike become a victim of the devil, and you'll need a priest to exorcise the demons out of it again. So I'm just kidding about this, going off on a tangent. But let me just put it to you this way. The legend is true. The legend, even though it's got a lot of different variations about Four Thieves Oil and all this type of stuff, there's all these different ways, and that it's been said that this is, you know, what's going on, and you know, what's the deal. Why is it? How did the legend really come about? Because sometimes there is some variations, but this port of Marseilles, France, actually did have a lot of activity from various parts of the globe. So when the disease probably came from aboard ship someplace and then entered the town, or maybe some microbes combined with different parts of the world and became a super microbe. You know, that's another theory out there, because sometimes microbes, they will genetically modify by multiplying, and basically the offspring of the microbes become super microbes. And that could have been because Marseilles was actually a very, very busy port in the Mediterranean, which basically was the the trading ocean of the world at the time, and that's probably how it started. And so I think there's a lot of merit to the actual legend, and there's a lot of merit to the oil too itself. But actually, just as I pointed out, I don't know how super effective it would be to go to write the actual frequencies to your body. But the one thing I would say on the big advantage side of that is there's absolutely none of the smell of clover, garlic, and vinegar. So just want to point it out there. This is not actually, even though I was kidding around on some of this stuff, it's not actually a fake thing. This is actually the formula going back, and this was actually taken off of Google archives going way back. And this is probably the original formula: rosemary, sage, lavender root, camphor, garlic, cloves, and the strongest distilled wine vinegar. So if you want to actually, and this knowledge actually goes all the way back to Hippocrates. It did not start with the spice traders. It actually was used prior times, even with the priest when they were doing last rites to victims who died. The priest would actually put this on their robes. So it's been known, and it's highly effective. And actually the theory has been tested today that it will get rid of most microbes inside of minutes. So it is a very powerful type of medicine that can possibly help you and maybe save you someday.